So once again, we're in high 90s heat, guys. So I'm making dinner tonight, probably unfortunately in the oven, but I'm feeling like we need a little bit of dessert after. Sometimes you just need something after dinner, and I don't cook dessert very often, but we like lemon pound cake here. So what we're gonna be doing is we're actually going to switch it up a bit and do the lemon pound cake in the solar cooker because yep, you can do a full-size meal in the solar cooker, but sometimes people don't actually get to see what it looks like in terms of making a dessert in there. So today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be mixing up just some of the ingredients and just in my mixer here. So 1/4 of just your baking soda, your baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You're gonna need a cup of butter. You're going to need 1.5 cups of flour. Hopefully I can get this in here. Oops, spilled a little bit, that's okay. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I always eyeball everything just because I'm just so used to baking. Some of you may want to just sort of measure that out, but we're going to do 2 teaspoons. You're going to need a smidgen of pure lemon extract. And when I say smidgen, I mean just a tiny bit, because if you put too much of this in, it will take over your cake and the cake will actually end up being bitter. So just a tiny little bit, just to give it some of that lemon taste. And then you're gonna need to put in 3 eggs, which hopefully has been sitting at room temperature while you get everything ready. So we're just gonna crack these. No, don't drop the shells. Sorry guys, I dropped a shell on the floor and I hate that. Okay, so last egg. Okay, get rid of all this out of the way. And then finally, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need about a 1/3 cup of sour cream, which is pretty much what we have left from the other night of having nachos. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add all that in, and then we're going to basically mix it all up and get it ready so that we can put it in our pan here to go into the solar cooker. Okay, so let's get this baby mixing. Make sure I have it plugged in. I've done that a million times where I look at the screen and go, wait a minute, what's wrong with this thing? And it's actually not plugged in. That's what happens when you're tight. So we're just going to mix this up a little bit. Get everything all nice and mixed. Begin to happen is your batter actually begins to get thicker. Let's take a look at this puppy. So you want your batter to be thick, almost to the point of like frosting. And then what we're doing is we're just going to take this out and we're going to put it into our baking pan and out into the solar cooker. So guys, as you can see, my grass is still dead. Even though we got a little bit of rain yesterday, it was only about 3 millimeters, which was just enough to really just sort of get the ground damp. And as you can tell, it really didn't do very much. It's still pretty dry. Okay, so I've got the solar cooker ready. We're gonna place the lemon loaf inside. Now, inside the solar cooker today, you're gonna see that I actually have a little swing that's in here. And what happens is, besides swinging, is this will sit on it, and every time I need to make an adjustment up or down in terms of how, just to adjust the solar cooker for the sun, the swinging arm will move with me so that I don't actually have to adjust the pan itself. So when I move the solar cooker up, the pan will swing forward. If I have to move it down, it'll swing backwards. So it's kind of a handy little thing to have. So the solar cooker's already sitting at 100. So we've got our lemon cake in here. Let's close up the door. and let's see what it does with the cake. Now, I know some people are going to say, but Jan, you don't have the cake in a dark pan. Trust me, it will cook. Let's check back on it in a little while. And just to sort of take you around the back, the solar cooker is pretty much on its last rung. There's an adjuster at the bottom here that pushes it up so that you can tilt it forward enough that, you know, obviously in the morning sun you can catch that and take advantage of an all-day sun. And as the day goes on, that adjuster, you'll move, you know, when you're moving with the sun, you'll actually move that adjuster down just so you can follow the sun. So that's what I've done. So it's bang on right now. It's early in the morning. Let's take a look and see maybe in a couple of hours how far we've gotten. Okay, let's take a look and see where the batter is right about now. I probably have to make another adjustment just to keep going with the sun, but woo, it's steamy in there. Let's see what the batter looks like. Hopefully this isn't too hot when I go to open it up. So this won't be ready yet, but we can definitely check. Woo, a big whoosh of steam. So it's starting to bubble and starting to form the cake. And that is at hour 2. So it's just starting to harden up, you can see here. Okay, let's just give it another little bit and check on it and, well, see what happens. So the wind's picked up a little bit, but it's still working, so I don't have to take it off the table yet. Now it's full of steam in here, so yeah, I'm thinking that this cake is probably almost done. So just to get something to see, let's open this up and see what it looks like. The oven is on about 300, so let's see what we got. Keep in mind, I did not cook this in the recommended dark pans where they tell you have to cook in dark pans, otherwise it won't cook. Now if you want, you can leave that in a little bit longer and you can get it browner on the top if you like. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is I'm going to create the icing for the lemon cake and then let it cool down and slice it up. But this guy is done. He is done. Excellent. So it took me, he was in here about 3.5 hours and he's just starting to brown on the top. So I'm really pleased with the results of this. It's great. Like if the power goes out, and for whatever reason we get that a lot where it's sunny and the power goes out, you know, this is sort of my go-to, just so I can make sure that, you know, we have a meal handy. I like to go to the barbecue, but sometimes it's nice if we're not hungry, we can put things in this and it's, you know, it's a slow cooker and it gets it done, provided there's not a lot of wind. So I'm going to go in and make the glazing and glaze it up and then cut it up. So now we're at the point where, you know, you're creating a glaze, you know, for your lemon loaf, and there are so many different ways to create a glaze. The only thing that I do is I add either half a cup of icing sugar to a cup of icing sugar, depending on how thick I want it, 2 tablespoons of water, and a tiny little bit of lemon extract, maybe a teaspoon. Because once again, when you use the pure lemon extract, if you use too much, regardless of how much sugar you use, it will make it bitter. So you're just gonna mix it on down to the consistency that you want. And if you want it a little bit thicker, then you just take your icing sugar, you know, you obviously add a little bit more in. I can do that, hold on. Just to make it a little thicker. And then we'll mix it on in. And I want to pour this on here while the cake is hot so it gets all smooth and glazed properly. Okay, so the consistency of mine is enough that you can pour it. So I'm just going to basically take the cake and I'm going to pour it over. I don't do anything beyond this point except let it run over the cake however it wants to. I just let it make its own design so that when I pull it out of the bowl, it gives it kind of a cool design. and you'll find that this will start to sort of harden to a nice, really nice topping on top. So the glaze is great, you know, give it a try, see what you think, but there you go. So we cooked together today and we made a lemon pound cake with icing in the solar cooker. And by the time dinner is ready, this will be ready to serve after dinner. And that's it, guys. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.